Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Epunlomo Adekunle in a major story. Members of Frederick Fashion-led Unity Party of Nigeria in near fisticuffs at National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Also in this program, APC presidential aspirant Atiku Abubakar unveils economic agenda, pledges tax rebates if elected president. Adamawa State Governor Bala Ngelari and sacked acting Governor Umar Fintiri returned to Yola from Abuja in same flight to exchange pleasantries. And outside Nigeria, thousands flee fighting between Iraqi forces and Islamic State militants in and around the city hit in western Amba province. And now the details. One of Nigeria's newest political parties, the Unity Party of Nigeria, is facing a crisis within 6 months of its registration. The turmoil in the party led to a rowdy session at its National Executive Committee meeting presided over by National Chairman Frederick Fashion. Allegations and counter-allegations were bandied around as party members almost went physical with one another.
From the purported and illegal NEC meeting. A motion to suspend the national chairman. 2, a motion to pass a vote of no confidence on the national chairman. 3, the declaration of an acting national chairman. 4, the declaration of the reported financier of the illegal NEC meeting, Prince Rotimi Pasheda, as UPN governorship candidate for Ogun State. For the avoidance of doubt, as of today, UPN has no governorship candidate in Ogun State or in any other state for that matter. The emergence of anyone as our candidate will follow due process.
Therefore, in response to the directive of the NWC, which to state perceived constitutional breaches permitted by the national chairman. Number 1, violation of NEC directives on the appointment of caretaker committees for giving appointment letters for those who are not qualified as chairman caretaker, e.g., Ogun, Lagos, and Delta states. Number 2, unilaterally send or direct the Deputy National Secretary to send messages of postponement of the NWC NEC meeting of the 18th and 19th, which was fixed by the NEC through a motion moved and adopted by the members of NEC.
The national leadership of the All Progressives Congress has vowed to give the People's Democratic Party a run for its money and ultimately form the central government come 2015. Speaking in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, the APC leadership says the party has the clout to dislodge the PDP. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, however, tasked INEC on level playing field for all ahead the 2015 general elections. Rashid now completes the story.
As the date for the 2015 general elections draw near, All concerned stakeholders have been using all avenues to promote their parties and manifestos. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, John Odigiri, says the APC, unlike any other time, have presented Nigerians with a better option for the 2015 elections.
I've already packed my bag, and the next place where I will unpack it will be in Aso Rock. That there's no doubt about it. 2015 is our year. It's the year of the people of the country. It's the year of change. It's the year when Nigerians will take into their hands their own destiny. The decision is theirs now to make. Do you want to continue the way we are, which is leading us to the precipice and over the precipice, or do you want to be courageous and try something new, something different? They never had the opportunity before because we never had two nationwide parties. Today, they have that opportunity, they have that chance.
The national vice chairman south of the party, Sheguni, says the Southwest has suffered abject neglect at the hands of the present administration, which he says is enough for the zone to vote against the PDP in the 2015 elections.
20. Every geopolitical zone should at least have 3. Go and check out. The Southwest has none. And that is not right. Anybody who is not fair-minded enough to bring everybody near the corridors of power, irrespective of where they come from, does not deserve your vote. He will not deserve my own either.
But for the Speaker, House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, the electoral umpire must not be a pawn in the hands of anybody to ensure the credibility of the 2015 general elections.
There should be elections in Nigeria come 2015. The elections should be transparent and credible. And I expect INEC to conduct those elections with every sense of national commitment and patriotism, without any favor to either of the sides.
The Speaker, however, responded this way to his reported presidential ambition.
There's been reports around of you dumping PDP today. When are you declaring your presidential ambition under the APC?
That is not part of this interview.
The 2015 election is still months away, but the intrigues and drama leading to the elections promise more interesting days ahead. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Former Vice President and presidential aspirant on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, Atiku Abubakar, says he plans to encourage the private sector to create jobs through tax rebates. This is one of the key items of his draft policy agenda, which was released at a session with finance correspondents in Abuja. The policy touches key areas including employment generation and wealth creation, infrastructure and power, education and skill acquisition, security, citizenship and governance, agriculture and food security, and Niger Delta and Northeast reintegration.
Is the explicit bid to modify the way the machinery of federal government works by one, providing the political will, vision, and capacity to lead this great nation with great population. Clarifying and streamlining MDA's remits and responsibilities, removing overlaps and operational redundancies. Systematically devolving and delegating operational responsibilities to states and local governments and private sector organizations, both commercial and charitable. Addressing habits and practices that currently compromise policy implementation. Enriching good governance is the hallmark of our administration, and eventually ensuring that solutions can be implemented, monitored, and evaluated.
Earlier in his address, the Director General of the Atiku Campaign Organization, Babalola Borishade, noted that the draft policy will be exhaustively reviewed by a panel comprising policy experts later in the month at the Obasanjo Presidential Library in Ota, Ogun State. Kaduna State's Governor Mukhtar Ramalan Yero has appealed to all politicians to work towards a violence-free election in 2015. He made the appeal while receiving members of the People's Democratic Party who were at the government house to urge him to contest the governorship election. According to him, politics is not about blackmailing or working on how to kill law-abiding citizens. He expressed a wish for a process that would be free, fair and peaceful without any riots or killings. Earlier, the chairman of the team, who also is the Commissioner of Finance, Samaila Aliyu, hailed the governor for his effort in bringing what he described as lasting peace to the state. The delegation comprised commissioners, council chairmen, and other political leaders who have signed up to push for Governor Yero as PDP's sole candidate in 2015. After a two-day trip to Abuja, Adamawa State Governor Bala Ngelari arrived to Yola on the same flight with the embattled Amadu Fintiri. The two were said to be at loggerheads after Fintiri was sacked by Federal High Court, ruling that reinstated Ngelari. They exchanged pleasantry at the airport, signaling that the two politicians have settled for their differences. After inspecting a guard of honor mounted at the government house, Ngelari later addressed party supporters at the government house after being welcomed by Adamawa PDP chairman Joel Madaki. He promised to run an open government that will deliver the dividends of democracy.
I guarantee and assure all PDP members and all citizens of Adamawa, I will do justice to everybody. Justice through the vehicle of PDP as a political party. To ameliorate the difficulties that our people are suffering, our youth, our women will have to give them the price that they deserve.
Ngelari further appealed to the PDP members that have defected to other political parties to return.
And use this opportunity to appeal to all PDP members who, for one reason or the other, have moved on temporarily to other parties to come back home. We want to guarantee them there will be justice, equity, and fairness in the government.
Buja indigents under the umbrella of the Original Inhabitants Development Association have accused supporters of FCT minister of playing politics with their socio-economic demands. The group also maintained that some of the projects, including land swap and the Centenary project, touted as landmark achievements, were aimed at shortchanging Abuja natives. It added in a statement issued in Abuja that the people behind a recent rally urging the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory not to leave to pursue his alleged governorship ambition in Bauchi State are sycophants. The umbrella body of Original Abuja Indigenes insists that the natives have not benefited much from the incumbent FCT minister in spite of his long tenure compared to others like Jeremiah Hussaini and Nasir El-Rufai. The man who led the recent rally in support of the FCT minister, however, insists that he enjoyed the backing of 80% of Abuja residents. Danjuma Busa told CoreTV News that the group, which embarked on a recent citywide rally, is a coalition of smaller community-based associations of Abuja indigenes. He maintained that it was not a sponsored PR campaign and argued that the administration of FCT Minister Bala Muhammad is the best since the establishment of the Federal Capital Territory.
Is why I'm fully committed to encouraging this administration is because of the step he has taken. You know what I'm saying? So it's not because of anything. This man is doing it together with carrying us along. The past administration, you know what I'm saying, when they will start something, I don't know that it will fail. It has never worked. The issue of resettlement and compensation has never worked. If I do his tenure, I remember why we have the one Galui was all those when they wanted to relocate some of the communities. Did it work? No. When you go to those places, you even go and see the building, type of buildings. They will even say this is a quarry. There will be one small hut like this. Has done everything for us. But we have seen that whatever step that he's taking, he's getting us involved, he's carrying us along. Of course, even if he ends this tenure, that does not mean that he's going to solve all our problems, but you see, he's leaving a legacy that has never been left before.
It's the CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break now, and when we return, extradition process against ex-Mint boss has been adjourned. Join us after this timeout.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water, or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos waits and gog as all routes.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news spreads. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV,
a 24-hour news station.
Thank you for being there. And here is a quick reminder of our major stories. Members of Frederick Fashion-led Unity Party of Nigeria is near fisticuffs at National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. APC presidential aspirant Atiku Abubakar unveils economic agenda, pledges tax rebates if elected president. And Adamawa State Governor Bala Ingilari and sacked acting Governor Umaru Fintiri returned to Yola from Abuja in same flight, exchanged pleasantries. You can also reach us on our social media platform on Facebook. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space then news. The extradition process initiated by the federal government against the former managing director of Nigeria's security minting and printing company, Ehidiame Okoyomon, could not go ahead as scheduled at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Okoyomon's extradition is being sought by the UK government over his alleged role in the bribery scandal involving central bank officials. The Nigeria Security, Minting and Printing Company and Securrency of Austria between 2006 and 2008. But when the case was called for mention, the Defense Counsel Alex Izeon told the court that he had filed a preliminary objection challenging the jurisdiction of the court to hear and decide the matter. Izeon argued that there is no extradition treaty between Nigeria and United Kingdom to justify the Attorney General's move. Responding, the prosecuting counsel, MS Hassan, told the court that he had not been served with the application and urged the court to remand the accused in prison custody pending the hearing and determination of the application. After listening to the submission of both counsel, Justice Evo Chukwu ordered the defense to serve the prosecution with all necessary processes and remanded the suspect in EFCC till October 16 for hearing. The police authorities have reconstituted the Force Gender Unit to stem the tide of violence against women and girls in the country. To this end, Acting Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba has appointed Olabisi Kolawole, a Chief Superintendent of Police, as Force Gender Advisor to head the unit. Police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu said in a statement that the unit would, among others, implement a robust capacity building plan for officers on gender-related matters. It is also expected to pave way for gender desk officers in police formations across the country, as well as establish relationship on gender equality with the larger society. The Bring Back Our Girls group has served notice of intention to take its protest to the presidential villa on Tuesday in commemoration of the 6th month of the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls from Chibok town in Borno State. The protest movement said in a statement issued by its spokesman, Rotimi Olawale, that a request has since been sent for an appointment with President Goodluck Jonathan. The group explained that the objective of the march to the villa is to convey the urgency for the girls' rescue and to hear the accurate status of rescue effort directly from the president. It didn't say whether its request for an appointment with President Jonathan had been approved, but made it clear that its members had been mobilized for the protest march. The World Health Organization has certified 3 local drugs manufacturers to produce globally accepted medicines for malaria and HIV/AIDS. Health Minister Onyebuchi Chukwu disclosed this at a news conference in Abuja. He added that this now brings to 4 the number of Nigerian companies that have now met WHO standard in drug production.
Nigeria now has 4 pharmaceutical companies that have gained the World Health Organization Good Manufacturing Practice Certification, the GMP. And I understand they are also the only 4 pharmaceutical companies in the whole of West Africa that have done so. Therefore, Nigeria has now joined the rest of the global community in this regard. The world awaits that products such as Artemether lumefantrine combination tablets for malaria, for instance, lamivudine tablets for HIV/AIDS, levofloxacin tablets that are used for infections including tuberculosis, zinc sulfate tablets for the treatment of diarrhea, fluconazole injections, as well as ciprofloxacin tablets, just to cite some examples. All these being manufactured here in Nigeria.
The United Nations says there are 1 billion people living in slums across the world. A World Bank study shows that Lagos State had 42 slum communities in the year 2000. This was the submission of UN officials at the 2014 World Habitat Day celebration in Abuja. As part of the Millennium Development Goals, the United Nations has pledged to improve the lives of 100 million slum dwellers by the year 2020. Paris Samuel reports that the theme of this year's observance is Voices from the Slums.
The World Habitat Day was first celebrated in 1986 after the UN passed a resolution on issues of shelter and human habitat. Now, the Nigerian government say it is committed to improving the living conditions of people living in the slums. But it is also worried that slums coexist with well-planned areas within the cities.
There is no better way to fully establish the living conditions in the slums than to hear from the slum residents themselves. It is our hope that collectively we will establish a vibrant platform to give a voice to this growing segment of our communities. It is through such conversations that decision makers would be better able to come up with policy interventions to mitigate the adverse effects of the slum challenge. The task of managing human settlements is no doubt huge.
The UN has its own concerns too on the neglect of slums in Africa. It wants governments on the continent to provide adequate and affordable housing for the citizenry.
The goal is to raise awareness of life conditions in some areas of the planet, which are crowded with inadequate housing, poor or no water and sanitation facilities, and no security of tenure. There is rarely any public space in these areas and no allocation for streets, meaning no public transport and no access for emergency services. Great efforts are being made to improve many slums around the world and better the lives of those that live there.
There are also others who want an improvement in the living condition of slum dwellers in order to stem the tide of global warming.
This year's World Habitat Day theme, therefore, is a clear-on call for government to find other ways of dealing with slums. Apart from raising awareness of the living conditions in slums, it is also challenging government to provide a mechanism for engaging with slum dwellers, with people who live in slums, to work together to gradually improve on their conditions.
I would like to urge this gathering of stakeholders to consider the implementation of the identified recommendations and also identify various new challenges in our cities and propose ways to resolve such challenges of unprecedented urbanization in our great nation.
As Nigeria joins the rest of the global community to celebrate the World Habitat Day, slum dwellers in large urban settlements can only wish for a better living condition and are not necessarily burdened by the threat posed by environment to global warming. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Old Boys Association of Government College, Ibadan, has vowed to reclaim the lost glory of the school. The association, which stated this against the backdrop of the dwindling fortune in the nation's education sector, seeks private and public partnership to arrest the situation. Oluwaseyi Adegoke was at the media chat put together by the association ahead of the 85th anniversary of the institution. Her report is presented from our studio.
The Government College Ibadan was founded in 1929 and has produced eminent Nigerians in various fields. According to the Old Boys Association of the school, up till the 1970s, the students had the sort of education that equipped them to face the challenges of life. However, reverse is the case now as the school faces serious challenges including decaying infrastructure and academic decadence. The national president of the Old Boys Association of the school, Biodun Jolaosho, says the association is ready to partner with the state government to restore the lost glory of the school.
The Old Boys of Government College, Ibadan, are probably more passionate about their school than any other because of their pedigree. And I can tell you confidently that in the last 10 years, we have invested more than 150 million in the school in form of restoration. We appreciate the challenges facing our state government in Oyo State in terms of heavy demands on its meager resources. That is why the Old Boys are saying that the state alone cannot run or fund education. The Old Boys of Government College are ready to partner with government of the state in a public-private partnership arrangement.
Jolaustro says it is only a reorientation that can change the drop in standards of education.
We can only change things around if we have a new orientation. At the national level, you see, we're talking of Oyo State. It's not only Oyo State. Oyo State is even doing well, in spite of the 24th position. You go to some states, you'll be surprised what you have. You'll be surprised. Yeah, so this is education. I mean, some of us who have schooled abroad, here and abroad, I mean, you weep for Nigeria. So I think we need a new orientation to solving the problem.
As the school marks its 85th anniversary, the Old Boys Association says restoring the lost glory of their alma mater is the main priority.
The death has been announced of a former trustee and executive secretary of the defunct Petroleum Trust Fund and one-time commissioner for education in Old Bendel State, Tayo Akbata. He passed on peacefully at his Ikoyi, Lagos residence Monday morning at the age of 83. A press statement from the family confirmed the death of the elder statesman and asset administrator who was the Ima of Benin. Burial arrangements will be announced in due course, according to the press statement. He is survived by his wife, Olabisi Akbata ni Ayorinde, children and grandchildren. A proud alumnus of Edo College, Benin, and University of Hull, United Kingdom, Akbata served as the Deputy Registrar of the University of Benin, Oyo State. He was a director of Bendel Feeds and Flour Mills and chairman of IBM Nigeria Limited. He was also one-time chairman of Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, and Pipeline and Products Marketing Company, PPMC, a subsidiary of NNPC, as well as chairman of Siemens Nigeria. He established the Tayo Akbata Foundation, which caters to the needy and underprivileged. We'll take another break now, and when we return, we would bring you business and sports stories, and of course, other stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
One continent, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages, but united with similar interests. As news breaks, we give you in-depth analysis around Africa every Monday on CoreTV News.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before it perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
So anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly, and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on CoreTV News.
Thank you for being there. And now to business. In its first Africa Energy Outlook released on Monday, the International Energy Agency said power generation capacity in Africa will rise from 2020 to 2040, giving nearly 1 billion people access to electricity. The West Energy Watchdog, in its report, says reform programs are starting to improve efficiency and to bring in new capital, including from private investors and grid-based generation capacity in Africa's main scenario to 2040, adding that it will be from a very low base of 90 gigawatts, which is today half of which is in South Africa. According to the report, more than 500 million people, mainly in rural areas, will remain without electricity in 2040 if much effort is put in. The report says much of the expansion in electricity will come from new renewable energy. International Energy Agency also says West Africa's crude oil production may fall more than 12% between 2020 and 2040 at a time of fast rising. domestic demand squeezing the region's exports. It said the current production level of above 6 million barrels per day would fall to 5.3 million BPD in 20 years from 2020. The federal government has said it is currently working out a permanent source of raising the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority capital to the tune of $5 billion. Speaking at the ongoing IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., weekend, according to the coordinating minister for the economy and minister of finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the intention is to work the capital towards $5 billion in the first instance and then upwards till it grows as appropriate. She says at the moment, Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, which manages the Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Fund, has some $1.55 billion capital, all funded through the excess crude account, including some $550 million recently injected by the government as third-party assets for the institution to manage. Okonjo-Iweala says the NSIA investments were already bringing in some good results, posting profits of 1.5 billion naira for the first quarter and slightly above for the second quarter, as she would investors towards co-investing in the institution. Equity transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Monday ended on a negative note. The NSE All-Share Index dipped by 0.97% to close at 40,051.29 basis points. Market capitalization decreased in the same manner and closes at 13.224 trillion naira. In all, a total of 191.7 million shares valued at 2.8 billion naira were exchanged in 4,483 deals. Report shows that international breweries topped the gainers chart, followed by Stanbic Bank, Ikeja Hotel, UACN, and National Aviation Handling Company. On the flip side, Seplat topped the losers chart, followed by Nestle, Forte Oil, Guinness, and Dangote Cement. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. World of sports. Following Nigeria's 0-1 loss to Sudan in Saturday African Nations Cup qualifier in Khartoum, former Super Eagles manager Christian Chukwu has asked the team caretaker coach Stephen Keshi to resign honorably. The African champions suffered a shock defeat to the East Africans in a match played at the Municipal Stadium in Khartoum. Forward Bakera Kabi Bakri scored the match winner in the 42nd minute to hand his side the 3 points. Shocked by Eagles' unexpected defeat in the hands of the Sudanese, Chukwu said Keshi does not need to wait any longer but take the exit option. FIFA's chief ethics investigator Michael Garcia has criticized the culture of secrecy at the world governing body and called for greater transparency. Garcia, who has been investigating the bidding process for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups, said he had been operating under conditions more suitable for an intelligence agency. He called on the people running FIFA to show leadership and publish the 430-page report. FIFA President Sepp Blatter has said that to do so would threaten witness confidentiality. Garcia, speaking at an event in London, said the investigation and adjudication process operates in most parts unseen and unheard. And now to other stories outside Nigeria. As many as 180,000 people have fled fighting between Iraqi forces and Islamic State militants in and around the city of Hit in western Anbar province, according to the UN. The civilians, many of whom were already displaced, have headed east towards the war-torn city of Ramadi. The UN says the refugees are in need of food, blankets and medical supplies. ISIS militants captured Hit earlier this month in an advance across Anbar that has alarmed Iraqi leaders. Analysts say seizing Anbar would enable ISIS militants to establish a supply line to launch possible attacks on the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. The US-led coalition that is battling the militants has carried out airstrikes on the area around Hit. However, Iraqi security officials said on Monday that ISIS militants had overrun a military base the Iraqi army had abandoned west of the city. They took military vehicles, including tanks, and then set the camp ablaze. And just before we close the show, here is a wrap-up of the stories that made our headlines. We told you that members of Frederick Fashion-led Unity Party of Nigeria were in near fisticuffs at National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. We also brought to you a report that APC presidential aspirant Atiku Abubakar has unveiled his economic agenda and pledges tax rebates if elected president. And finally, Adamawa State Governor Bala Ingilari and sacked acting Governor Umar Fintiri returned to Yola from Abuja in same flight and exchanged pleasantries. That's been the show tonight. On behalf of our entire news crew, I am Ebunlomo Adekunle, wishing you a pleasant night rest.